Test, test, test. All right, everything is showing up. Oh, I need to present the share screen window, this share. Go back. Oh, I didn't recycle my page. That's why I can't see it. Well, why don't you just go live? I'll try to figure this out because I don't know. I don't even know where to get the link now. I'm too new. Throwing himself in. Test, test, test. Well, Testing 1, 2. Can you hear me? Okay, excellent. That's good. Hey, welcome to the live, anyone and everyone. Kind of just playing around with Blender 3.5 beta. And if you don't have it, you need the Blender launcher. This thing is imperative to your Blender survival. So you can get this. I've actually got quite a few tutorials that include it, but you can just type in Blender launcher in any search engine and get it. And then you'll get the Blender 3.5 beta, which was just released a couple days ago. And this thing is actually pretty sick. So one of the big things that I really like about it is that you can come in here with the hair mod. And if you go to the asset browser now, okay, you automatically have hair mods, which are preset node groups. And so I'm actually going to do a little split here and pull up the Geo Nodes editor and get rid of that. And you can see you get this pretty massive geometry node setup. And so if you drag and drop something in to the hair mods, it'll pop up over here. And so from there, you can go into the modifier panel and you get hair curve noise, which is the one I added, which is really cool. So if you kind of hold down shift on this one, you can kind of play around with it and you can mess with the factor, the shape, the scale. I've actually animated the scale because I'm kind of having a little bit of fun here. And so I just hit play on this and I'm working with the bloom and kind of just playing around with it, because what I'm going to do in my next live and or tutorial is I'm actually going to make a Dragon Ball Z character with this. I think it's going to be pretty sick. So I can't wait to do that. So let me see if there's anybody still in the live here. So I do not have it worked out just yet since it's the first live. All right, now I'm just going to go over this. Whoever comes in, comes in. And so let me just go ahead and save this. And I'm going to go ahead and just call this Wild One Blend. Just get it out of the way. And I'll click New General. So just everything goes set up different. And I will have to reopen it because it crashed. Awesome. Just one moment. That's the deal with the new, the betas. The LTS 3.3.2 never has crashed on me yet. So let me share this window with everybody. Make sure that actually shared. Looks like it did. Super cool. All right, so this is what the new 3.5 actually looks like. And I'm going to dump that and just drop in a Suzanne. Super cool. I can't wait to do this. This is my first live, by the way, too. So have mercy on me. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and shade that smooth after I do like 3 subs to that. Go ahead and apply that. And I've got the quick menu on my mouse now. So it's pretty cool. All right, so what I want to do is grab the, just a second, everybody. All right, so what I want to do here is I'll pull up the horizontal split and get that asset browser. It's a little tricky. Let me get that bad boy in there. And it comes up as all, so you just come down and click hair and you'll see everything. You'll see deformations, which I use the hair curve noise, which is pretty cool. And so this is pretty simple stuff. You could just come in and Shift A, go to curves, and you could add in an empty hair. And then you just have to go Control Tab and go directly into the sculpt mode and click to add. And as you know, this is like the basic way we've been doing it. And you could turn the count up so it's not, coming in one stick at a time. And you can kind of populate that. You notice that the PC is definitely running a little bit slow. And so you can populate that and then increase the density and or decrease it however you see fit. And I don't really like doing it like that anymore because they got a fur option. I'm going to show you that thing in a second. It's super cool. And so I can throw the noise onto the hair. And then, like I said, you've got these options here. You can start kind of messing around with it. And let's see, the guide. This is the one that was cool. It's what I'm going to use for the DBZ character. This would be the hair curves. And this, just right off the rip, is absolutely Dragon Ball Z ready. And so it's pretty cool. You can kind of go through it like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and delete that. And here's my workflow. It's kind of generic, but this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to kind of cap the Suzanne. And what I want to do, what I want to do is go into face select, and it's subdivided pretty well. And I will let you know, if you're doing this with a custom mesh, you are going to have to unwrap it when you do the regular hair mod because it needs a UV map, okay? So just keep that in mind. And so I'll Control plus this out until I get a nice cap, kind of like this. And I want to Shift D, make a nice copy, and I got to turn snap and proportion off. Likes to be on a default for 3.5. And now I want to hit P and just separate that by selection. And so now I've got the cap. And the reason I did that, and I'll just hide the cap for a second, is if I come in here and hit Shift A, curve, and go to fur, it's going to encapsulate the monkey head completely. And that's not what we want. So I'm just going to Control Z back off of that, Alt H to unhide. And I'll just have the cap with the fur mod, which I think is pretty cool. And so now you get this effect. And so if you want to, take up a side view and get some more of that covered, you can go into face select. And here's the trick that I've been using. Hold down left click on your selection box here and go to selection circle and then let go. And then you can hold down shift and you can basically paint in what you want to separate. So you can add more hair and all this kind of disappears. You're not necessarily even going to see any of that. And so I'll hit Control 3 and take up the other side view and just hold shift. And I'm just going to kind of paint this in. And then I want to separate that, jump back into object mode. And I'll have to left click and go back to selection box. Otherwise, it's kind of a pain. And so now I've got this. And I didn't Shift D that. I just kind of chopped the head right off. It's okay. And I'll add the fur mod to that one as well. And so now we have two, opposite self-controlled hair mods. And we can kind of do whatever we want with it. So you could throw the DBZ hair in here and then have something else going on, or do it like that. And you do, I believe it comes with a color. Yeah, so it comes with a diffuse automatically. So you can kind of play around with that. And you can make that like the classic Super Saiyan colors, right? And I'm not going to do the whole thing. This is just going to be kind of a short-lived live because there's a lot of adjustments to make so that I can make sure my lives are really good. But I want to go over the hair mod stuff because this is insane. Super cool. So we come through here. And now if we hit Control Tab and go into sculpt mode, now we can start sculpting this stuff. And to get those kind of DBZ curves and curls and such, you know what? Let me pull up PureRef real quick, because if you guys don't have reference images and all that good stuff, then you need to. And let me go ahead and load my DBZ. I actually called it DBG. Shame on me. So here's the, you know what? I don't think you can see it. Let me see if I can share that as well. Yeah, I don't think you can see that. So let's go ahead Okay, it's probably not going to show up. So what I can do, I'll have to figure that one out. Let me get out of object mode for a second. I'm actually going to pull it up and then drop it as an image real quick. So if you go in and just kind of grab something, type in Goku in whatever search engine you've got, and then you can just save any one of the photos that you come up with. And I really like the ones where he's going Super Saiyan. So let me just save this image to my desktop real quick. All right, so now I'm going to come back over. Probably see the mouse going all over the place because the only screen I'm sharing is this one. And let's see if we can get a reference image in here. And this may be a complete fail. Let's see if I can get it to show up. And it should show the images if you just click over here to display mode thumbnails, because that's one of the new upgrades too. So that's definitely good. And nope, it is not showing up. Anyways, doesn't matter. I'll do that in the next one. So one of those cool things, like take up a side view, go back into the sculpt mode, and you get the snake hook. And this one will actually give you the DBZ character traits that you really kind of have to have if you're going to do DBZ at all. And so you can kind of bring these bad boys up, and you've got a strength up here as well. So you can kind of play around with that and kind of bring these up. And now these can also be modified down here in the modifier panel. But some of these manual adjustments kind of may take you a little bit longer. I recommend it because it's a little finicky, little touchy. And when you scale these things out with the noise settings, they're really hard to grab. And so you end up grabbing a bunch of other stuff. And so you kind of just get the idea of what's going on here. And I wish I had my reference image, but I was not prepared for that. And true DBZ style, if he's going to go Super Saiyan, right? And F brings up your brush size if you want to grab a bunch of it at one time. Something like that is always cool. Now go back to object mode. And I kind of like this. Maybe it could be a little bit more even, but I don't think the Super Saiyan hair is. And so the scale is what I was working with. Go ahead and pull up a timeline, because this is the fun part. And then I'm going to end the live pretty soon after this. All right. So I'm going to go to frame 1. And why I have 550 in here, I don't know how that's default. I must have been doing something crazy. There we go. And shame on me for not having my screencast keys on, but I'll get more organized at some point. And so from here, with the hair selected, I'm coming down to the noise. And I'm going to animate the scale factor of this. So I can hit I over this scale and then come out to like 300 or whatever. And then kind of just bring this up. It doesn't matter where you end up. I'll just type it in 8 to make it nice and even. So when you go ahead and hit play on that, that's a little bit too slow. Probably just bring this out like that and then cut this back to 120. If it will let me. There we go. And now if I hit play, not quite as fast as it was, but that's okay. And so once you're done with that, you kind of play around with it. You get the idea of the hair mod and all that. It's kind of self-explanatory. You can come over to the material tab and you can switch this and not use nodes. And you can go in here and put in probably an emission would be good. And then switch it to like that Super Saiyan color. And then I can go over and select the EV engine, which is going to give us bloom. And I'll put the viewport to 128 on these samples. And I've got everything ticked on. The volume tile size, I always like to bring that down. And Yeah, let's do the world and then kill the world all the way down. And I'm going to throw a plane in. Kind of scale that bad boy up a little bit. And I'll throw a spotlight in for good measure. And scale that bad boy back a little. Turn it up. And what you want to do is go to your world settings, go to volume, and turn on volume scatter to get that to work at all. And bring your density to 0.1. And this is kind of where the magic starts happening for this. So when you're working with the lighting, it's going to start looking good there. And I'm not going to mess with the volume color. That's actually good. And the emission, you want to bring it up because when you're working with the Eevee engine, that bloom needs a little bit more boost. And so you can kind of play with the intensity. And then the volume scatter is going to work good with those ambient lights, not necessarily like a sun or anything else. It works really good with a spot, and it works really good with the point lights and things like that. All right, but that's it. That's all I'm going over. See if anybody's actually still in the chat here. Nope. Just one person. Hey, whoever's still here, appreciate you watching. And I will see you guys in the next one.